Welcome, Hannah Einbinder. How's yours doing?
Mine is off. Still off, but like okay. I feel like we are doing it.
Yeah. All right. Should I just try? I'm gonna try.
I think we talk, and if something happens, it'll happen.
Okay.
Right. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna. Yeah. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. No worries.
I'm Tracy Gilchrist. I'm your moderator. Thank you all. I'm gonna start. I hope easily. And ask you what your history with Jane's films is.
Yeah, so I saw TV Glow in theaters and was, hell yeah, and was like kind of like deeply moved and paralyzed and like felt like there was like kind of a before and after for me. I think when you witness Jane and you're like a Jane head and Jane is for you, it's incredibly affecting. And so then I went back and watched World's Fair, which, yeah. And then when my agent sent me this script, I was like, and then I watched TV Glow again, and then I met with Jane, and we Zoomed, and we vibed hard.
Yeah.
And then, I just, so just like fan first, and then got to jam hard.
I love it. I love it. Well, you Zoomed with Jane, and what was your initial reaction when she either talked about the premise of this film, the role you'd be playing, or when you got to see Chris on the page?
Yeah, when I read the script, first I was struck by how comedic it was, like knowing that like I think the previous films were more serious. And then like getting to talk to Jane, I was like, oh, this is a true comedian. Yeah. I think like the description of Chris in the character description in the script was think like Woody Allen if he hadn't ... never.
That's a hard.
So I was like, copy. Understood. So that was that says a lot.
Yeah.
And I was so just struck, like reading the script, which like I'm sure it will be available at some point because I really highly recommend reading the script because especially I think now, seeing the film, it is such an incredible experience. Jane is like a novelist now. They're coming out with a book, and reading their writing, like seeing their films is amazing, but also reading their writing is very moving and transporting and cool. So just engaging with the script was so fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And I have to say, one of the things that I really love about this film is it's about a summer camp, but it takes place in deep, deep winter, which lends this kind of surreal aspect to it. And it's one of the ways that it flips the tropes of these films. Would you talk about the season of it?
Yeah, I mean, so we shot this in like gorgeous summertime, and the snow is all fake. And shout out to Kyle, our snowman. Yes, an artisan, absolute artisan. He had to deal with the local ice rinks, so so the snow that's on the trees is this biodegradable, eco-friendly paper material. But there is like ice, like real water-based snowish stuff on the ground, and that's from like local ice rinks, which is so cool. He really is such an incredible artist.
Yeah.
And so it was like really crazy to be having this like summer camp experience and just be like full green forest, strip of winter, green. So yeah, like, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's interesting, like talking about the winter season in the film. It helps to kind of create, I think, like that isolation and that
Yeah.
fantasy.
And claustrophobia a little bit,
Mhm.
because yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
but it was very cool to make everything snowy.
Yeah. Thank you. I want to talk about the chicken scene. I mean, it's visceral, it's very slurpy, it's very sexy. And I think some of you, and I think you might get this, but I watched it again and it reminded me with the music and the gaze, and it reminded me of Carol and Therese on their way to New Jersey in the car when they fall in love. So I wonder, would you talk about shooting this scene, which is hilarious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chicken scene was the first, or the meeting scene, like just in Billy's cabin, was the first scene Jillian and I ever rehearsed together, and so it was like, yeah, just so, and we also shot it on like the second day of shooting. We shot it in 2 days, the first half and then the second half, and that's like one of my favorite parts of the film. It's so cool. You start to see the little beginnings of like their compatibility and their like extreme joy over these like little like pleasure outlets, you know, the candy and the chicken and the fast food. It's like, you know, safe ways to access pleasure. And yeah, it just like, that scene was super important to nail. Obviously, it establishes like, is the thing gonna
Watch out.
work? And yeah, like it was just so cool to do that with Jillian. And yeah, like I said, it was the first scene that we ever did together, and it was also like the first time I heard what she was going to do with the character, and we were in our hair and makeup tests. So I was like, it was so surprising and disarming, and I think that rehearsal, I tried to keep that thing that organically happened because I didn't know she was going to do the Southern accent, and I didn't know that there was going to be like this gorgeous, glamorous, like sort of 1940s vintage thing going. And so I like the rehearsal of that scene, I was like, okay, I gotta like keep in mind the way I'm reacting to that. And yeah, it's a major,
Yeah.
Good one.
It sets the table.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Literally sets the table. And we find out some things about Chris in that scene. This is obviously a filmmaker. She made a film about Psycho from the point of view of the shower curtain, which is a film I want to see. She's intellectual, but she's also poly and progressive, but she's also, we learned that, and then we find out that Chris is, despite all of her progress, is very locked in and not open and free with her body.
Yeah.
And I wonder, would you talk about what Billy does for Chris? I mean, what do they get from each other, get and give to each other that really works for them?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and Jane has talked about this, like, I think this is a movie about a lot of things, but one of the things is like figuring out how to like embrace sexuality and feel like a liberation from shame, and like facing dissociation and trying to like escape the body as much as possible. And I think that you know, Billy has this like real ability to relate to Chris as we see, and so it just, I think we all, you know, many of us, I'll just speak for myself, like I definitely relate to that, and I definitely know that I've had pivotal relationships or connections, or you know, a connection with someone who helped me to feel comfortable and to, you know, confront that thing. And so I think, you know, some people maybe if you relate to that, there's an experience, a partnership or relationship that just brings you the ability to feel safe. And I think this is, like I said about a lot of things, but I think that's like the central like purpose of the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things that Chris says was that Camp Miasma, the original, was her queer awakening. And I think I can speak freely when I say that a lot of queer people are very much drawn to horror, and I don't know if it's the breaking down of boundaries or exactly what that is, but what is it for you?
I think horror is like an outsider's genre, and I think that queer people have been pushed to the margins of society, and so I also think that there's a huge correlation between horror and comedy, and I think also queer people are drawn to comedy, and a fundamental part of shaping comedy, and also funny for the most part. In some cases as sort of coping mechanism, right. So, but yeah, I think that I think it's like this. The way I've been kind of talking about it is I think when you are vilified and demonized and labeled a monster, you sort of relish in a radical reclamation of that title. And I think this film is the final girl is not in this film not a victim, but it is this empowering, righteous, sort of like the victory run.
And taking control of your narrative.
Yeah.
Which I really love what Jane does here with the harmful trans narrative that has been around since Psycho.
Yeah.
And not only does it flip the script on that harmful trope, but the story we find comes from Little Death. So Little Death is telling their own story. Would you talk a little bit about the kind of power in that and what it means to you to be a part of this project?
Oh my God, I mean, this is the epitome of what I could ever hope to do with my life. This is, not only am I proud to be as an audience member myself affected by the film, which I am intensely, because when I first read the script I was reading as audience, and moving through the making of the film, it caused me to really interrogate what the film is covering and really examine how true that was for me and work through that in my own way in tandem with the character, which is so crazy. And also genuinely to make it with good people. Jane is so gentle and warm and funny and supportive and deep, and the tone was set on the set, and everybody just had so much love for each other. And so not only being a part of this story, but making it in a way that is aligned with the our ethics of how we want shit to be run, and the environment that we want to create. That is absolutely everything and more, So very honored for sure.
Absolutely. And I love that, you're in it, Jack Haven's in it, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Quintessa Swindell, although you don't have any scenes together, but so many queer people in this film. So Jane really made,
And also amazing queer filmmakers came to shadow Jane, they are really about paying that forward and reaching back and pulling people in. There's an amazing Canadian filmmaker, Avalon Fast, who I highly recommend. Yes, I highly recommend Avalon's film called Camp. Yes, it's really, really amazing. But Avalon was with us, and Eilis Brugman, who shoots Avalon's films, and Avalon is cutting now a feature-length documentary about the making of this film, and was rolling with like 6 different cameras at all times. Avalon's also in the film. If you notice the girl in the tie with the camcorder, so that is Avalon filming the documentary in the film.
Right, because you get a snapshot of Jane.
Yeah. There's a little bit of Jane, a little bit of Avalon in that moment when Billy's talking about her experience with Little Death in the end by the campfire. So like, that wasn't in the script, but that happened organically. Also, like Alice Mayo McKay. Yes. Okay. Cool section. Alice is an amazing Australian filmmaker who it makes incredible like horror films. And Alice came and queer assistant on the Zoom call, Louise Weir. Who made Castration Movie. Like everybody came in and like it just was like it was like this like utopia almost. Like it was like, oh, this is exactly what we want to do, exactly how we want to do it.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. We actually are at the time where we're going to ask you all for some audience questions. So
This is an oddly specific question.
Okay.
A fake filmmaker is named Ray Blanchard. Do you know who that is?
Yeah. That's a real person.
That's a real dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a great guy, but he's a guy.
No, I know. I know. But he would make that movie, right?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
110%.
Thank you. So it's like, it's sort of commenting on like that, that's the thing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Totally. Everyone's going, huh?
now I have to Google Ray Blanchard.
Yeah.
How about over there?
There's like 12 movies in the Camp Miasma series. Did you ever discuss what happened in those? There's like a nebula in everybody's mind.
So we didn't go deep on every single miasma, but there is a tagline that I'm gonna try to remember right now. There's one of them is miasma, Camp Miasma, like in space or something, and the tagline is space can be deadly. I just think "can be" is so funny.
That's Jane's humor.
Yeah. Well, there's so much detail in absolutely everything. Like that opening sequence is just filled with like, it's all made to be real and genuine.
It felt real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Do we have another question for Hannah?
Over here.
I don't have my glasses on, so over here.
Hi, excellent, super cool movie. Very early on, Billy's character mentions that it was based on a real serial killer, and there does seem to be real blood on them at the end. Is everyone okay?
Yeah. It's fake. It's all fake. Yeah, it's all fake and sticky and no worries there.
And what I took away from it was, we have a sapphic love story with a happy ending.
Hell yeah. Okay, maybe one more.
One more?
I guess.
Yeah. How about over?
Up top in the corner?
Yeah, good job.
I was going to ask about like the candy, all the kind of mince food and stuff, like where that came from, what that kind of means to you.
Yeah, I mean, Jane is like a candy head. Like they and I too share that with them. Like so I think like it's kind of like I said, kind of like my interpretation of it is that it is like this safe way to access pleasure, and also like it is associated with like the love of film is, we eat candy at the movies, and like that, Chris watching the original Miasma on DVD in the beginning, like having their like ritual out in front of them. Like I think that's yeah, just like associated with like the love of all of the stuff surrounding the movies. Yeah.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks, guys. One more thing that I'll say is I've now seen the movie 6 times in full, just because we've been like all over the, country, showing it. And I definitely don't, go off if you want to see it 6 times, but I would say like, see it again, because there's so much that I even on like my second and third and fourth, even this past time that I'm seeing, like it's so packed, and you will see it in a new way. So I encourage you to watch it again.
Agreed. I've seen it 3 times.